Hello, everybody. This is Paul Cradle.
And this is Miles Gray. Welcome to
Welcome to
Pandooradoom.
Pandora. Welcome to Pandora. Right.
Welcome to Welcome to Pandooradoom,
All right.
all to our
Where,
fellow
where should we
Pandoranauts.
start? Yeah, Pandooranauts. Where should we start, Miles? I told you something and you responded, "Well, that's curious." Do you want me to go into that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, as
What
I
an
explained
ornate
to you,
ceiling.
I've probably the ceiling is nice.
I said
I,
it's
I
what an ornate ceiling.
it is ornate from this view. When you're in here, you don't really notice it. Yeah, but
Right, right. Okay.
so anyway, as I've explained, I think a few times since yesterday, so within about the past 30 hours or so, um, yeah, so this was yesterday, about 30 hours ago. So I was making coffee actually right here. I was using this milk powder and this coffee powder to
Okay.
make my to make my milk coffee. And so I scooped I it was this cup here actually. And see right now this cup has water in it and I noticed that immediately. I noticed that it had water in it. So when I'm grabbing a cup, you notice if it has water in it. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I would
Typically.
agree. I would agree.
Okay. Typically, it'd be weird if you didn't. Okay, but so I had this dry, empty cup. I put in I got a spoon. I got one spoon. Okay, and
Okay.
I would notice if these spoons were stuck together. Well, I don't have one right here, but yeah, here's one. It's in the sink. I mean, I would notice. Take two spoons like this. You're gonna notice if two spoons are stuck together
Yeah.
when you're grabbing for a spoon. Or how are they gonna adhere anyway?
Yeah,
Right?
that's a good question.
So
Well,
anyway,
I mean
so
it
anyway, I might be giving too many spoilers already. So what happened was I put the milk powder in, I put the coffee powder in with one spoon, and then I turn my attention, say about 60 degrees over. So it's out of my field of view. So the cup is out of my field of view, and I'm here working on the coffee powder container, putting the lid back on, screwing the lid back on like this. Okay,
okay.
and then I turn back to the cup, and suddenly there are two spoons in there, and about an inch of water, and it's mixed.
That's
how
quite
how in the world did that happen? I'm thinking like the first thing I notice is, whoa, how are there two spoons in there? And then and then I go to feel the spoon, and I know to take it out or investigate what happened, and I notice that there's also water, and it is I got distracted by something on the screen.
that's
So
okay.
there's also water, and I noticed that it's been stirred. And right at that instant, though, my daughter had come in, and so come in from playing outside. She came in this door, and I
Okay.
just kept asking her a few times, "Did you put a spoon in? Did you put water in?" But and she was just like, she was aloof about it, and she was just like, no, no. I mean, when it's your own kid, when they're playing a trick on you.
Generally, yeah.
Because they'll giggle, they might eventually give in. Or in the case of my daughter, I think at this point, she would want credit for stirring daddy's coffee if she did.
Yes, that I can
Okay.
imagine. That I can imagine with her.
So she's not just gonna play some trick on me. And she came in at the instant I noticed that. And I had heard no other strange sounds going on. No one else was around. And so it's like it would be as though Jesus stirred my coffee for me. As weird as that is, I know you don't believe in Jesus. A lot of people don't. I don't know myself. I don't know, but but that doesn't really have anything to do with it. That would be a matter of faith. What I have is a strange experience. Subjectively, I guarantee that was an unusual experience. And I've scratching my head over this, thinking, could there have been water adhering between the two spoons that I didn't notice? Well, if there were an inch of water, it would have been too heavy.
And you're
I would
saying
have noticed.
and you're saying that when you got the cup there it was an empty cup, there was no water, and you're certain of this?
Yeah, yeah, I know because I was standing over it like this when I put the
Well,
powder in,
well,
and it didn't
I
go
have a
in the
question
water.
though. When you saw
Yeah.
that inch of water in the cup, did you see a little tiny guy walking on the surface of the water? Sorry, sorry,
No.
sorry. That was a
I,
low blow. I apologize. I
no,
apologize, Paul Cradle.
no, that's all right. It's humorous. I get it. So the thing is, I just I don't. I put the powder in myself, and I swear it did not dunk into water. I would have noticed. There's
Yeah.
like this strange, unlikely combination of all
Well,
these things
well, hold on.
that I would have noticed that I somehow just didn't
Well,
notice.
this is the
How
thing
could that be?
because you're saying you're pretty certain it was roughly about an inch's worth of water within the cup, right?
Yeah, I
And
think
there
so. It's really hard for me to
and
estimate.
so
Maybe
and
three
so
quarters
even
of an inch.
and so for an average pair of spoons, even if there was some amount of water that were somehow adhering between the two, if they were sandwiched together enough by, surface tension or so, that may not be the right term, but it wouldn't result in an inch's worth of water in the cup afterward, though.
No, wait. Because for one thing,
Not even close.
the I would have noticed the weight of the water if it were somehow stuck between two spoons
Yeah,
by
I think
suction
so.
or something. But there
Yeah.
weren't two spoons. I swear. I always notice if there are two spoons, or they'll just slip apart or something.
Wait, how often do you
It's just,
notice two spoons, though? You say you always notice
but the
two
thing is,
spoons.
I mean, of course I would have noticed though, because the
Yeah.
thing is, the spoons in this kitchen don't stick together. Like it's hard to stack like all of the spoons. It's hard to get them to tessellate.
Yes.
They barely will. I mean, you see.
Yes, I see that. Well, there's no
I
way
mean, I'm
for the
trying to tessellate
spoons
them,
of
but
this nature. There's no way that could hold an inch's worth of water in a
no,
cup.
and they're gonna slip apart because when I go to grab a spoon, typically we store them upside down. So like I would grab the bowl of the spoon,
Wait, could there
and
have
there's
been
just no way.
could wait, so hold on a second. There was water in the cup prior to any material or any matter being added other than the water?
No, there was nothing in the cup.
Okay, so this was
And then
prior to
I put the milk powder in, and it was
yeah.
dry. It did not dunk into any liquid. I put the
Oh, I
coffee
see.
powder in.
Oh, right, right, right. Okay.
It did not dunk into, and they weren't stirred or mixed. They were just separate powders in there in the cup. As I said, I go to put the lid on the coffee powder container. I turn back. Poof, two cups. Two spoons? How are there two spoons? How is there water and how is it stirred? How did all those things happen?
And
See, what?
you're entirely certain that you didn't do this yourself and then block it out because you were
Yeah,
tired
yeah.
or
Yeah, no, absolutely. For one thing, why would I have? I never add just an inch of water to my coffee. I
yeah,
fill
that's
up most of the cup all the time anyway when I go to stir. I mean,
well,
it's like there was like a stream of consciousness. I had no blackout, no lost time, nothing like that. No hypnosis. Like if you happen to put yourself under hypnosis somehow driving or walking. I remember doing that sometimes as a kid, but for years now, it's never happened. Um, but you notice lost time. You notice yourself being somewhere else. You don't just turn back at what you were just looking at and
yeah.
see that the scene is completely, just inexplicably changed, as if some force of nature somehow stirred your coffee for you
That is
and
fascinating.
added water. How? But it's the kind of thing, I mean, I'm glad that you appreciate it. I mean, I'm glad that you can at least be curious about it, because it's the kind of thing where they'll listen to the effect and then they'll just back propagate and say, well, it must have been caused by this, like you just forgot. Or it, I mean, like I said, it might be that you must have had two spoons stuck together. You must have had water in there that you didn't notice. The two powders must have diffused in the water pretty quickly for some reason. But why would all of those things converge? It doesn't make any sense for me to not notice all of those things. And then,
Right.
like I said, the daughter just did not have motive, time, and I can read her. I mean, if it came down to a matter of me reading her, no, but she didn't have time anyway.
Plus,
I would have noticed somebody beside me doing that much stirring and that much water adding.
plus, has your daughter
As though
ever done
she would
anything
have
like
had
that before?
no. And she would have had to open the refrigerator, because typically we store these water bottles in the refrigerator. So
Right.
she would have had to open the. She didn't open the refrigerator. She had just come in at the instant I noticed that. So, man, it was not her. So,
And there was
but
only
but
one cup, right?
yeah, yeah. So maybe to whatever forces of the universe planned this or something, that was part of it, so that it would all be done by the instant she came in. And as part of the plot would be that there would be some doubt. Like I would ask her, "Did you do it?" And then I would have to realize she couldn't have done it. And I
And,
believe her anyway.
right. And what would be the purpose of this sort of lived morality play?
What do you mean morality play? Like, why would some force of nature do this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's God trying to reveal himself. Although it could also be fused timelines. Maybe there was a timeline where I had used another spoon and I had mixed my coffee, and it just fused with the timeline that I remember, where I had just put the powders in a dry cup. And
Are
then
you are
poof,
you are you
the two
proposing
timelines fused together.
are you proposing a Mandela Effect
Yeah.
scenario?
Yeah, like a personal, physical, mundane Mandela effect, where like the two fused together, but in one person, being me. So it
I
wasn't.
wouldn't entirely discount such a thing. I mean, that
I mean,
could
if you want a possible physics-based explanation, that might be it.
right. I mean,
Um,
if we're not going Occam's razor, then definitely. Sorry, I'm joking. I'm joking.
so the time, yeah, so the timeline I remember is where I had only added powders, unmixed, but then I fused with a reality that I don't remember,
Right.
where I had mixed them already.
Well,
That's what I'm
not
saying.
even that you don't remember. It would be that you are not aware of, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a
Or
timeline that a time, right, right. I see. But the timeline where I did that
I mean
has
they
no memory in this timeline. The memory disappeared when it fused into this timeline.
right
But
because
I don't know. I
the
don't
only
know.
rememberer is the current you within this timeline. Presumably. I mean, I guess we don't really know for
Yeah, but
sure what would actually happen
yeah,
in a
I
scenario
don't.
like that.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened to the guy in the other timeline, if there is one. And he just fused into me. But that's getting confusing. I don't know. Did the memory disappear?
it's also plausible. Well, no, I was just thinking maybe there's a possibility that this happens all the time, that other yous are fused into you at any given moment, and then the memories and thoughts of that other you seamlessly intertwine with the ones that you have in this life, and then you don't even realize that they're not your own. But then I realized pretty immediately that in truth, what really happens is, there's enough of a record of your life, objectively, more or less, in terms of records, that you would start to notice if there were all of these lost memories that you couldn't recall. Because obviously, within this
Mm.
timeline's memories, hold on, my phone is going off. Hold on just one second, I'll be right back.
Mhm. So what happens to the lost memories? I mean, are they
Terribly sorry,
forgotten or
terribly sorry, Paul
uh,
and the fellow Pandooranauts. What were you saying?
or or maybe the memories are fused in are remembered, but during the fusing process, your brain decides which ones don't make any sense and blocks them out because
Yes,
the
that's a
your brain
possibility.
demands sequential continuity, and
That's
it's
that's a
like,
good point. But then there's another question, which is the limited capacity of the brain storage. Because let's say, for example, that you had literally millions of yous fusing into you at any given second. It wouldn't take very
mm,
long for your brain within in this timeline to literally just explode. No, not
yeah,
explode. I mean,
right.
it would just become it
Okay,
wouldn't it would
so the
cease
memory,
to function. It wouldn't have the capacity
yeah,
to
I mean,
function.
right. So it's kind of there's kind of like a zipper mechanism or something where things have to line up, and whatever doesn't just gets booted as the fusing is going on.
Okay,
But
so there could
so
be a
somehow,
mechanism for that. Okay. There could also be
so
compression, by
somehow,
the way, like
what
compression
do you mean,
files that there would
like
be.
data compression?
Yeah, and there would be data packets
Mm,
of the most critical memorage, we'll say, that comes from all of these
okay.
different inputs,
Yeah.
the different
Right.
parallel universe inputs. Um,
Right.
but then
Well, we're not even really sure how memory works exactly. So, I
that's
mean, there's
true.
some debate whether it's even in the brain at all, but
That's true.
whatever the
But
case
but
may be,
but hold on, Paul.
however that works, somehow,
Paul, I have
yeah.
another thing to say. You wouldn't even if this were actually happening, it's not merely that it would be, say, Paul A from universe A is fusing into Paul B in universe B. It could also be that Paul A originally had also been infused by Paul Z, Paul F, Paul Q, Paul R, Paul Alpha, Beta, Kappa, and Rho, and then fuses into use, and then you wouldn't even know which memories or memorage was from the original Paul A. It would basically be multiple universes, different Pauls that are being fused into you via Paul A plus Paul A's. So
So you're saying maybe we have memories from different timelines that have
well,
been fused and
precisely.
that don't. So maybe that has happened. But the weirdest thing, though, to me is that so the memory that I have now it seems continuous with no jump cuts, but somehow reality itself, right in front of me when I turned, had an impossible fused jump cut.
Right.
How that happened, but what? So why would that be okay? Well, somehow there was some mechanism to consolidate my memory into to streamline my memory sequentially. How did that happen? It's
Well,
just too
well,
it
it could
it's
it
just
could be that at the moment of the splice, there essentially was a kind of jump cut, but one that you're not even able to notice because of the unreliable brain.
oh, you mean so maybe I actually do have two memory systems fused together
At
and
least, at least
they duked
two.
it out somehow. At least two, and they duked it out somehow just to make sense of the world, or maybe that's a limitation that they can't even possibly store more. Well, no, what am I saying? if they fuse, it's like some like chimeral memory somehow.
Yeah, it's very
They're,
chimera. Very much a chimera memory.
it's like so they're fused, yeah, but one wins over. Maybe one is kind of wrapped around the other for the protection of my sanity to make
Wow.
sure the other one doesn't get out.
Wow, that's quite an image.
Uh,
Yeah, it could well be.
oh gosh. But I mean, this is the kind of thing
Wow.
I know that you can't really go around talking about in normal life. It requires a kind of protective environment. And
Well, luckily
especially,
you have Miles Gray to talk to and the fellow
well, I
Pandoranauts.
mean, I mean, this is our own show, so yeah, there's that. I mean, who's here to
Yeah, but how
right?
many shows from other universes have informed this one? This could be multiple universes shows in one.
Yeah,
No, I'm just
yeah,
joking
I wouldn't
because,
doubt that.
of course, I mean, no, the thing is that I would presume, well, I mean, if we're going into full Mandela effect, then that absolutely could be the case. But if it's something that is specific to the brain, say, then obviously it would not be the case for an electronic medium like the internet. But well, I mean, no, I mean the brain
Well,
is electronic too, but
I,
or
have,
electrical in a way, but
I have heard, yeah, I have heard of some possible. I don't
bioelectrical.
know how reliable this is because I don't know. It was I saw some YouTube videos about you know, Mandela effects, things that just didn't add up on the when looking up the old internet archives, like a picture of a building or something.
Well, yeah,
There were
a lot of the cited cases of supposed Mandela effect are pretty easily challenged at the very least. I mean, you know, so many of
oh yeah,
the famous cases are ones that are not so difficult to pick apart if you're being, you know, scientific about it. But there are probably some cases where it's not as easily explained away. But unfortunately, even that in itself does not promise that it's a fact that it is the Mandela effect. It may be, just be that the cause is far more untransparent than the other
yeah.
ones.
Well, when this subjectively happens to you, it's the weirdest thing because I mean,
Yeah.
freaked out is not the right word. Surprised, it's more not really. It's more like just confused,
Well,
like
yeah,
a jump, like a
it's I
continuity
mean,
in a movie.
well, I
Like,
think
how did that get
it's an
there?
encounter with the uncanny. I mean, there really is
Yeah,
something there's
it
something
feels. Yeah,
supernatural in how it feels, that's for
well,
sure.
yeah, it definitely does feel like a first-hand encounter with the supernatural
Yeah.
that I can't explain. And I suppose psychiatry has some kind of answer that is not very flattering to me, probably.
Yes, that's, well,
And so everybody has some
psychology, yeah.
yeah, so everybody has some kind of answer to write it off. But I know what I saw. So I
Yes.
guess what it comes down to is the only thing I know is that I experienced something weird.
Which eye are you
That's
talking
all.
about, Paul?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who is anybody's eye? Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you mean. Um,
Yes. Well,
so anyway,
I
it's
also
like
hear
that,
you.
yeah, so like after a while that's it is what it is. I mean, what can I'm gonna step outside for a second. It's
All
like
right.
it is it is what it is. What can I do?
Yeah.
Um, what's and just a second. Yeah, just a second. Okay, okay, okay.
Don't go at that back.
Okay. Don't go at that back. Okay. Yeah, so
What was that about?
oh, I'm not allowed to. It is dangerous out here at night, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
Wait, aren't you just outside the house?
Yeah, I'm just right outside the house.
Wait, what's dangerous though? To be in the yard?
Yeah,
Really?
if I go anywhere unlit. I don't know. But I can't go far anyway because of the Wi-Fi.
Wait, but
So,
is it safer to be in the house though? Like if you're in the house, does that really deter, you know, like
somebody really
enthused
wanted to
criminals.
get me. I don't know. If somebody really wanted to get me, I guess they could anywhere. So I'm not gonna worry about it. But I got to use the Wi-Fi and have some lighting anyway. So
Okay.
as we were saying, yeah, it's too weird. But you know what the weirdest weird, as if that weren't weird. But to me, what's the weirdest thing about it is that it's so mundane and almost trivial. Like that makes almost no difference in my life. Very mundane and totally physical. And it was exactly what I wanted to do anyway. It just helped me with the process I was already doing. And but the weird thing is that there's no premonition involved. There's no intention, no wishing that I know of consciously. No no EVP, no telekinesis, no telepathy. It's just a jump, just a physical, trivial, mundane jump cut right when I turned back. Why? Why some see most of the strange experiences that I've ever had or that I ever hear about, yeah, and I saw no ghosts, there was no mist and nothing. No felt presence.
Okay.
But most of the weird things that I ever hear about, and like you as well, probably if you're into weird things, what you hear about involves woo stuff like that. It's not just a physical jump cut. There's a premonition, there's a telepathy, there's a feeling that something is weird. I had
Right.
no feeling that there was anything weird at all.
That is
I
curious. Okay.
had been I had been thinking about Jesus, and I had meditated out in the yard there quietly, listening to the birds and stuff, and undergoing some kind of ego dissolution. You know, a healthy amount as you should aim for. As this is like the point of a meditation, right? So
Yeah.
I did that, and I had some thoughts about Jesus and the Trinity. As far as a possible way to explain it to a Jew, for example, without saying Jews are bad, uh, and then at the
Hey, what are
same
you saying,
time
man?
being able to what?
I'm joking. I'm joking. I,
No, but I was thinking about it somehow. I was thinking about a way, so like I would answer back, my reasoning was I would answer back, well, we don't really worship Jesus as a man. What we accept is that a man was one of the forms that God took. We don't worship the man as God. He's just an accepted form of the Trinity.
but
And I
but
don't know. I had that thought as I was kind of reaching for the ingredients.
but even if
Mm-hmm.
that were true, that's still not
Mm-hmm.
acceptable within Jewish doctrine. It's
Okay.
because you
Yeah,
understand
I was just
because
going through some
because
thoughts.
even that would be taken uh to essentially break the first commandment as which which was originated by the Jews. And once again, remember that Christianity was born out of Judaism. So that's the thing that
Yeah,
has to be remembered, that that first commandment is not only
right.
Judaism, it also was inherited by Christianity that now has a problem with trying to
Yeah.
reconcile the Trinity. Well, I should
Oh,
say Catholicism has to
right.
now
Well, I
reconcile
guess
the
what I was
Trinity
doing.
to the first commandment.
Yeah.
Which I understand that there are multiple ways of doing that through various
Well,
philosophical means, or doctrinal means. But
mhm.
uh, and the thing is, I understand that satisfies many Catholic apologetics, but it doesn't satisfy the original Jewish commandment-based tenet,
Um,
which in itself gave
that's
rise to
fine.
the Catholic one. You see?
I see. I think I see. I mean, I think a lot of this is just based on your priors, where whichever side you start on, there's no way to really end up at the other one. But they're just, there's just it's just not worth fighting and having a war over. That's the one thing I want to assert. It's just it's not
Well, tell
it's
that to
a
the
it's a
Crusades, my friend. And I'm telling you that
Yeah.
from the
I mean,
very land, I'm telling you that from the very land that was the subject of the Crusades or the object of the Crusades. Here I am in Israel right now, and I
yeah.
reference the Crusades. This was the very land where the
Mhm.
Crusaders set up the Crusader states.
Yeah. Well,
Colonizing, by the
it's
way, the
I
land
hope we've matured
that
enough.
was the ancestral Jewish homeland. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Well,
because
I hope we've matured enough to see that it's just not worth it. We're never going to agree. See, it's like,
but it's not even a
you know,
question of agreement
from
or
the Christian,
disagreement. It's not even a
yeah.
question of agreement or disagreement. It's actually more a matter of uh having different interpretations or different allegiances. But it's not even an argument though. You know, it's not something that we're disagreeing about because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Ransom, what do you want for dinner? Do you want scrambled egg?
Yes. So
yes,
anyway,
half
sorry about
scrambled
the
eggs.
interruption. Yeah. So the thing is, yeah, there's no real argument to be made. There just can't be. But I think what it is as a Christian, you just accept. It starts where you accept as a prior that Jesus is a form of God, and it doesn't conflict with the first commandment. And so,
So
I mean,
but
it's
it's a matter of faith though in that case.
right. So it just I think a lot of this just depends on where you start, and that's all. A lot of that is already formed before any reasoning can really take place. You're right to say it's like a matter of faith.
In
But
mainstream
you
Jew
know,
in
seriously, I'm not really that into it. I'm not that serious about it.
well, I'll tell you
Seriously, I'm not that
in
serious.
in mainstream Judaism, the upshot of the first commandment is, with regard to this matter, is that there really is no workable reality to the idea of an avatar of the divine per se. That you do have things that maybe have the divine spark or are within God or God is within or something in between the two or both at the same time. Uh, but it's not really possible for God in all of itself to take a particular avatar like form. Uh,
Yeah, I
meaning
can see that.
because
I can see that line
in
of
it's
reasoning.
not only indivisible but it is also bodiless. And that's key. And and
Well, yeah, of course. Okay, so that's what we would call the Holy Spirit, if you want to see it that way. So that God is
well that's
only the Holy Spirit.
well, not exactly though, because the holy